Alright, another day, another video on Linux. So my last video, I tried out GIMP, which is pretty much a free alternative to Photoshop, and I wanted to kind of explore around a little bit more, because my fellow broke people need good alternatives, alright? And I didn't much care for GIMP, and I have heard a lot about Photopea, and so I gave it a shot. This is how it went. This is actually a website. This runs fully in the web. The only bad part is you do get ads. It is a shame. But I'm going to zoom in just on this part. That way you guys don't have to see the ads. So automatically I'm seeing lots of things. You can actually import PSDs, AI, XD, Big, Sketch, PDF, RAW, or any of these. So you can import lots of different types of file. It also looks like you can connect with different things. P games, what are these? Cool, they have like built-in games and everything. So there's lots of stuff you can do on here. There also looks to be a few other apps that they have. Photopea, I imagine this is kind of like, I think it's Illustrator, where you can make like vectors and whatnot, which is actually really cool, because I do need to convert some of the images that I have, like turn them into vector images, because it'd be a lot nicer that way. But let's go ahead and start up a new project. I'm going to be making the thumbnail for this video, and I have a YouTube thumbnail preset. The only thing different is I'm going to make the background transparent, like I normally do, and I will title this Photopea. This is already like really similar to Photoshop. It's literally like a copied image. So the way I want to do this is I already have a little bit of a design that I'm going to follow, and I'm going to design that here. I just really have a mock-up. It's not the full thing. And so I'm going to fully create the thumbnail here and make it the best I can. So let's get started. Now, I did actually end up preparing one thing for this video. I got screenshots of the icons that are on the sidebar because I want to throw in some of the icons in there. I have something I want to do with these that I think would look really cool. And I didn't want to have to get all of those on the other PC because I would have to zoom in, screenshot, zoom back out, paste, do all this shit. So instead, I just gathered the screenshots. I'll still have to remove the backgrounds of them and do all that stuff. But I'm going to go ahead and get these transferred over to the other PC. Alright, now that I have all those downloaded here, let's go ahead and start making this. And with all my thumbnails recently, I've been adding a background gradient because I feel they look a lot better than just doing, a base solid background. So let's make that. To do this, I think, yep, we just click there. Okay, that's easy. And then we do double click on this. So this is like a lot. Oh, there's a second one here. How do I delete that? Oh, it's gone. So just like so. And I do want to make this darker because it's a very, dark gradient. Am I able to add background, the guidelines? Rulers, right here. And then if I drag out like this, will that snap to the middle point? I think so. I think that's the middle point. I have really shaky arms right now and this mouse sucks. Why is it big again? Wait, so if I what? Okay, so if I spin this really big, if I shake it really fast, that's cool. I can make my mouse big. Right there, guys. Here's my mouse. You see it? You see, that's my mouse. That's awesome. I really like that. So, Alt scroll, zoom in, Control and scroll left, right, Shift scroll up, down. So very similar to Photoshop. Actually, I think that's exactly Photoshop, but I'm not sure. I don't honestly memorize these. Now, with this, it's going to be a radial gradient. I'm going to go right here in the center, select the background layer. Jeez, that was a bad voice crack. And do that. That looks atrocious. Okay, I want to reverse this. Dither? What does dither do? I have no clue. Oh, this needs to be not black. So I usually go into a dark gray. That's right. Whoops. I don't like going pure black because I think it just it doesn't look as good. I kind of like this. We'll stick with this. It's not the greatest, but it does indeed work, which is what I need. Now, the base design that I have, it's going to have the Photopea icon here in the middle, some little button icons off to the sides, and then some text at the top. So let's first start with grabbing an SVG image of the Photopea logo. So, Photopea logo SVG. This one never downloads as an SVG. There we go. We go SVG because they can scale easier and look nicer. Because of math. I did not mean... Oh, okay, so is it Control-Shift-T to transform? Shift-T? Alt-T? Control-T? Nope, that's right, that opens the console. Has to be Control-Shift-T. No, that's duplicating it. Let's look it up. Photopea transform Alt-Control-T. See, but that opens the terminal. So, how else can I access that? Maybe I just re-import it and size it down. There we go. Something kind of like that. And we'll go about right there with it. We're going to cover that little middle part of the gradient. That looks good. Now, let's see. Can we add effects to this by double-clicking? We can. So it is very much like Photoshop. It has the layer style thing. Drop shadow. I usually always add a drop shadow. Go about 120 for the angle. I'm going to bring this in a little bit because it does look, awfully far off. I want it to be a very subtle shadow, but I still want it to be nice and visible. Now, I want to test out an inner glow with this to kind of highlight those, like the little swirl. So if I just do, I guess we'll keep it as screen. Make this white. If we bring the size in, can I change this to like an overlay? Oh, that looks sick. Yeah, kind of like that, because I don't want to do an outer glow, but I still want to be able to highlight it to make it kind of bold and pop out a bit more. So that's really cool. And then if I click this, it shows me all the effects. So yeah, that's the blending options, which is really nice. Now, I'm going to import all of those different images that I have. Go ahead and open this. Downloads. I definitely need to go ahead and clean up my downloads folder soon. And this is not all of them. I think I'm missing some of them. Oh, and we can import multiple at once. That's something I don't believe you can do with Photoshop. If you can, I always have issues with it. Drag that there. No, don't move that. Where was it? 360? Please snap again. 360, there we go. That one there. Move that one up there. This one can go right there. That one up in there. I am indeed missing one. Which one am I missing? Is it in my downloads folder? It is not. Let me go find that. Alright, I found it. It was the brushes. Which there's actually two here. So I'm just going to probably remove the pencil. And just use the normal brush. So let's do that. We can usually just use the select tool. And if I press delete. Rasterize first. Okay. And yeah, that works. Also, this sidebar is getting really annoying. How do I deselect? Control D. Alright. So we're just going to kind of arrange these where I want to put them. So it's going to look kind of like that. Now, I want to remove the background on these. We'll start with this one. That way there's no background. And I'm going to make them white so they pop out a lot more. So for this, I usually use the magic wand. Does that work here? Magic wand. I want the... This is what? The move tool? Yes. And if I press delete. Perfect. Now let's go ahead and time-lapse through the rest of them. I also did add a white overlay to all of them, and that is also shown here in the time-lapse. Cool. Now we're going to add these into their own folder because I want to do something with that. We're going to duplicate the folder and duplicate the folder again. This one we're going to call white. This one we're going to call blue. And this one we're going to call red. In Photoshop, you can apply these blending layer effects to folders, which is what I'm going to do here, which it looks like I can. And some of these, I'm going to overlay with different colors to create kind of like a, I don't know what the effect's called, but it's like where the colors are kind of shifted out of place. Oh yeah, I can't press transform. I can't do the transform there. Am I able to change my keyboard shortcuts for this? Is there other ways to go into the free transform? Transform? Scale? What if I select the folder? Image transform. Edit transform. line. I don't know what that just did. Scale. Oh, there we go. Can I use my arrow keys? I can. So we're just going to pretty much offset the red down and to the left a little bit. And now we go to the blue. We add a blue color overlay. If you can't tell, I really love doing this effect things. I feel like it, kind of enhances the quality because I'm about to add a glow to it. And I feel like it makes glowing effects look a lot nicer. I am going to move the red back over just a tad. I feel like that's revealed a little bit too much on some of these. Actually, no, it's really only like this one. Also, this isn't aligned. Is it Control-Shift-Alt-T? No, that makes a copy. Control. I can hold down Control to move it. So then on the white one, I want to add an outer glow, which is right here. I'm going to make this white. It's going to be... Can we do overlay? Would that look good? Make them a little bit bigger. I like that. I think that looks really good, actually. Still feel like this red is exposed a bit too much, so I am going to move this. Pre-transform. Oh, it's right there. Yeah, Alt-Control-T. So you really just can't do that here, which does suck. I feel like if they could add a way to have custom keybinds, that'd be really nice. Now, before we finish up by adding the text, I want to redo this background layer. I think that's the new layer. It is. Drag that down because I want to make this a little bit darker. I feel like it's a bit too light compared to, my normal thumbnails and whatnot. Why is that there? There we go. Pull that all the way there. And that does look a lot nicer. And we're going to put this in its own folder. We're going to call these icons. Now press T for the text element thingy. And I'm just going to put free Photoshop. Now I don't have any of my fonts on here. So let's see. Do they have... Because they do have a bunch added already. They don't have that. Do they have enter? They do. So we're going to Control A, press on that. I want to make it the black, so it's the boldest it can go. I want to make this white, center it to the center. Why is there an L there? Also, I feel like this isn't really bold. There we go. We're just going to kind of scale this up. Oh, I can use my scroll wheel there. Did that on accident, but it actually worked out. We're going to bring this down a bit. Perfect. And now to catch your guys' eyes, I'm going to make the word free green. And actually, I want it to glow. So what we can do, we can duplicate this, rasterize it, erase. Can I use my... Yes, brackets does increase the size. Does it also have the Alt thing? It does. So if you hold Alt and go up and down, it changes the hardness. And if you go left and right, it changes the side. Or the side. Whoa, the side. The size. I'm tired. Y'all can't judge me. Because I said so. And if we do outer glow again, this one's going to be green as well. I'm going to make it a bit brighter though. Now I do need to size this down just a little bit. Just like that. I actually really like this. So now I wanted to see how we go about exporting. I think it's just export as. We can export it as an SVG. That's pretty cool. Wow. There is all sorts of stuff you can export it as. I actually really like how you can export it as an ICO as well. So you can make like icon files. They have PNGs, JPEGs, WebP. You can export it as a PDF. You can also save it as a PSD file and open it in Photoshop. You can automate things and make scripts. What? Script. That's actually really cool. So you could automate things in here if you really wanted to. I don't know if you can do that in Photoshop. I haven't played around with it this much. And then you can also share it and whatnot. This is pretty cool. So let's go ahead. We're going to export this as a PNG. I want to see how the export settings are. Can I scale this up? I cannot. So can we zoom this out? We can. So here's our final product. Looks pretty cool. And we're just going to save it. Boom. Just like that. Photopea. It's an amazing alternative. I actually really like it. I do want to play a little bit more kind of around with it because I didn't get to do too much. So since we already saved this, I'm going to remove these guidelines because we don't really need these anymore. And I want to play around with all the different tools they have here to kind of see how they compare with Photoshop. So we got the lasso tool. Will it automatically snap? It does. Control D. The clone tool, which I've never actually used. So this next bit is really boring, so I kind of want to explain my opinions on Photopea. I personally actually really like it. It is a lot like Photoshop, so if you're looking for something that's pretty much exactly like Photoshop, but free, I would say here it is. This is what you want. The only drawbacks, it is in the browser, meaning you will have to see ads if you don't have any sort of ad blocker. I would recommend having the ads on, that way the creators can, make a little bit of money. After all, they do have to pay for servers to run all this and whatnot. And it is a little bit laggy at times, depending on what all, filters and stuff you're using. Right here, that stamp thing I tested out, that was kind of laggy. It was slowing it down a little bit, but that's to be expected because it's in a web browser. But overall, this is actually a really amazing program. Shout out to the creators. This shit is awesome. So yeah, if you guys are looking for a free Photoshop, I would say here it is. But trust me, there's going to be another video. And I'm going to test out another video or photo editor. Alright, mark my words. So just be ready for that. Haha. So with that, thank you guys for watching. Next video will be out on Thursday. Make sure to watch that. I'm trying to do 2 uploads a week on Mondays and Thursdays. I feel like that's an evenish time to post them. I don't know. If you guys have a better idea, let me know. If you have any other ideas for videos, be sure to let me know. Make sure to like and subscribe because it really does help me out a bunch. My goal is 2K before the end of the year. I would love to reach that. And with that, I hope you have a wonderful day. Shout out to the members, and I will see you next time.